The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.
Now, more from Aaron Klein Investigative Radio.
I understand that you're hearing some sort of clicking noise in my broadcast to you. I apologize to that. I don't hear it here. I hope it's not Occupy with pickaxes outside of the studio. I am broadcasting from an undisclosed location, but in Charlotte, North Carolina, where we are joined right now by Sheriff Joe Arpaio. Now, federal investigators cleared Sheriff Joe and his office of criminal wrongdoing, quote-unquote, regarding allegations of financial improprieties. Of course, by the way, he was being investigated by the same Eric Holder Justice Department of the Obama administration that he, Sheriff Joe, the Obama administration, he is quite a big critic of. So, Sheriff Joe, welcome. I'm sure you're very relieved by this decision.
Well, it's been going on for 4 years. I'm glad that it's over with. My office has been vindicated. It's just not financial. I don't know. There's been abuse of power going after our political enemies. I can go on, which has been ridiculous, but has been in the media constantly for 4 years. I guess it's because it's me. If it was somebody else, you'd probably not hear about it.
Yeah, no, I spoke to you earlier today to ask you on this show. You told me that you're heading down to the DNC where I am. What are your plans here for the Democrat convention?
I just got back from the Republican convention. Of course, I was very active in that convention, but now I'm going back to give a talk with some officials of South Carolina and North Carolina. I believe they call it Rock to Red. Wednesday night. So they invited me, and I'm going.
Now, do you plan, leading up to the November election, do you plan to continue your investigation and to make the eligibility issue, Obama's birth certificate, into a campaign issue?
Well, my campaign or the Obama campaign?
Yeah, do you, let's say, plan to continue your investigation into the birth certificate?
Well, we're continuing it. It's not whether he was born here. We are looking at the fraudulent government documents. That's been my mission from day one, to see if those birth certificates were false. So that's what our thrust is. So we haven't given up on it yet. We have a lot of information, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question. This is not about where he was or wasn't born. It's the very facts or not the facts. Either there are anomalies in the birth certificate document or there are not. And investigators seem to see some sort of anomaly there. So do you think this is going to become an issue in the election?
I don't think so, because everybody's ignoring it on both sides of the fence. I can't seem to... even the media ignores what the evidence we have, but we did our job. I was asked to do it. I used my volunteer posse, no cost to the government. We did a great investigation, and we're still coming up with information. So we'll see what happens on that issue.
Now, the investigation into you, and we're speaking with Sheriff Joe Arpaio, that was dropped, does not relate. This is a separate investigation accusing you of quote-unquote racial profiling by enforcing immigration laws. Now, if President Obama does get a second term, and I can tell you that there are plans, because I have that book, Fool Me Twice, that goes over his plans, to try to use that racism canard against any immigration official who tries to enforce immigration laws. So if indeed you win or lose this case, could this be a key case in how law enforcement in the future will be able or not be able to carry out their actual specific on the ground duties of stopping illegals in the U.S.? In other words, do you see your case as a key to what other immigration enforcement officials could face in the future?
Well, we got 2 civil cases going. We just finished one before the federal judge, and he's got it under advisement regarding a lawsuit against me in my office on alleged racial profiling. Well, those are the same people that are talking to the Department of Justice who now announced in March that they're taking me to federal court, the Department of Justice Civil Rights Division, probably the same subject. And I think that will have a bearing somewhat because of our 1070 law, where the Supreme Court ruled okay as far as police stopping and asking the identity of those that are here illegally. So yeah, I think it's going to have a big role in the future. So we did the best we can, and we'll see what the courts say. That's separate from this criminal investigation that's been going on for all these years.
All right, Sheriff Joe Arpaio, thank you for being here on Aaron Klein Investigative Radio.
The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.